Well, I was just looking at your Twitter, your tweet, and you said that what, $4.6 million in college savings for youth there in Stockton?
Yeah, it's super excited. Since 2017, we've been talking about how do we start a childhood savings account. Understanding that the Stockton Scholars Art program is great because it's a scholarship at the end. But how do we infuse in our students and our parents and our community at the beginning that every kid born in this city is destined for something after high school? So we're really excited about the childhood savings account program that will at least start on a 3-year basis starting next year. That will allow up to 4,000 young people in this city to start preschool with a college savings account that will accrue to over $2,000 by the time they graduate.
Well, and that's real money that they can use toward their education, correct? Is it stipulated that it must be used for school?
Yeah, it's for education, for sure. But that could be trade school. It's just like Stockton Scholars, the scholarship I started for the $20 million scholarship fund I started for every student. It's like that, but at the front end. So but by the time they're three, so when they're 18, they'll have even more money with which to make decisions about what to do after high school.
And it's for eligible students, right? Talk about the eligibility.
Yeah, so the eligibility will be worked out between kind of San Joaquin A Plus, which is the organization where the money will be housed, and their partners. But it will probably be folks who are enrolled in Head Start and preschool. And that will probably be the eligibility, but they're going to work out those kinks next year.
Talk to me about why you feel this is so important.
Well, of the top 100 cities in this country, Stockton is number 99 in terms of adult with a 4-year diploma. We're the largest city in this state and the second largest metro area in this country without one institution of higher education. And a lot of the issues we complain about, from homelessness to poverty to violence, or even susceptibility to disinformation, all stem from a lack of higher education and access to higher education. So this is important because it's signaling to young people from the beginning, from the time they start school, that there's an expectation for them to do something after high school. And it makes sure that folks have the resources. I tell people all the time that talent and intellect are universal, that resources and opportunities are not. And it's just another way in which we're making sure that we're increasing opportunity for all people who live in the city. And I couldn't be more proud.
Well, talk to me about what this means for you. You know, a lot of people will say, once you've kind of served your term and you've done your job and you've done your work, and obviously you're going to be transitioning out, you could have easily just kind of rode off into the sunset, but you're still making announcements. You're still bringing things to the table for the community.
Well, absolutely. This is about legacy. And this is about my home. I was born and raised in Stockton. And like many of the young people who will benefit from this program, I was born with no expectation. No one but my family expected me to do anything. So I want them to know, from the time that they're 3 years old, that there was a mayor who saw them and saw not just where they were, but where they could be, and did everything in his power to create more opportunity for them. So I'm incredibly proud of the work. We have 2 more weeks, but I also understand the work that we did will reap benefits for many years. So next year, the year after, the year after, year after, 5 years from now, when covering Stockton, you'll still be talking about stuff that started when I was mayor, stuff that I created while mayor with my team. And I'm just proud of that because that's our legacy. It won't be just in buildings, it'll be in people and in progress.
Well, and so talk to me about that. You were saying the 2 weeks remaining. Have you decided what you want to get into next? What's the next journey?
No, no, more more questions than answers. So much opportunity, and so many different ways to make impact, whether it's nationally, internationally, state, regionally, etc. So I'm going to take the next couple of weeks with my family to decide sort of what's the next best step. Also understanding that at 30 years old, there's no rush. We have at least 40 more years to do important work, and that the next step will be a chance to have more impact, to learn more things, and continue focusing about how do we increase opportunity for everyone, how do we make sure equity is a superior growth model, how do we make sure we reject white supremacy, and how do we make sure that everyone gets to live with dignity.
Do you think you want to continue in politics? Do you want to get into the private sector? Are there certain things that are really of interest to you?
Yeah, I think I'm most interested in however I can use the skills I've gained, the experiences that I had, and the relationships I've developed to continue to push us to what we can be as a country. So I think there's a way to do that in private sector. I definitely think there's a way to do that in government. There may be a way to fuse it with public-private partnerships. So I haven't yet decided in terms of chapter two what that will be, but definitely options in government, options in the private sector, those are all on the table.
Do you want to stay in Stockton or do you want to kind of spread your wings? Because, like you say, you were born and raised in Stockton. You came back and you gave much of your early life to the city of which you were born.
My entire 20s. But I think it depends on my job. But no matter where I am, you can't take the Stockton out of me. I think the grit, the resilience, the hustle, that all comes from being born in this city. So no matter where I am, Stockton will always be on my mind and will always be a formative part of sort of the work to come. I also would say I'm definitely going to spend some time figuring out how do we help local news and local print journalism, and how do we combat disinformation and hold Facebook accountable for the accounts on their site. And that's also a direct result from experiences in Stockton and seeing how the record has struggled, seeing how fake news sites online have proliferated. So again, that's another example of how Stockton will be on my mind in terms of what's next and ensuring that what happened in Stockton doesn't happen in other communities in the Central Valley.
Very powerful stuff. Let's wrap it up then. Back to this $4.6 million college savings for youth there in the city. The suggestion being that this 3-year pilot program starting in 2021 could provide up to 4,000 3 and 4-year-olds enrolled in pre-K programs with a grant. That would grow from $750 up to $2,000 when they're ready to go to school.
It's again, it's incredible, and I think I'm most proud because that did not exist. That wasn't even a discussion in the city. And again, my team and I, we sat down and we said, we're not content with what's possible. We're not content with what has been. We're content with what our folks deserve. And we just think every 3 and 4 year old deserves what my 14-month-old has. Since he was born, he's had a childhood savings account, a college savings account where every month myself, my wife, our friends put money in there because we expect that when he graduates high school, he's going to college. And I've said this all 4 years. I'll say it 40 years later. I think everyone deserves what me and my family deserve. So I'm excited for all the 4,000 young people to have childhood savings accounts just like my son.